Hey, dear ones. So I just was looking for a video that I'm like 99.9% sure that I've made, and I couldn't find it. So I'm just going to re-record this concept here to include it in my most recent newsletter. If you're not on my newsletter list, there is a link below to join it. Um, Anyways, I want to talk about pleasure. So several years back, I really was just feeling very lost. I had been working in public schools, but trying to get out for like years and couldn't get any traction with that. I was feeling like my alignment with my values wasn't in my work. And I just was feeling so discouraged about having to go and do something that felt like I dreaded it and that felt like I was having to go against my values. So I was exploring and reading all of the things that are like, do what you're passionate about, like, do what you love, like, make money in your sleep, like, all these things. And I was just feeling so discouraged because I didn't have a clear passion and I couldn't tell you what I loved or like what I was put on the planet to do. And I had one friend who really just like wouldn't give up on me, kept encouraging me in that aspect, and kept being like, what feels good? Like, find something that feels good. And I couldn't really come up with anything, but I knew that when I was little, I really liked reading fiction. I was a huge reader when I was little. And in my adulthood, I had stopped reading basically everything except for self-help. I read a ton of self-help and a ton of parenting stuff, but I was like never reading for pleasure. And so I was like, I could try reading fiction. A teacher that I have enjoyed over the years, Martha Beck, she also, I heard a podcast at that time of her talking about like, um, don't like blow up your life. Like, don't just quit everything. Like, just add in like a little tiny bit of pleasure and it will grow. And so I was like, okay, let me try this. And she had said just 10 minutes a day. So I got a book. I don't even remember what the first one was that I got. And I gave myself like a timer and I set aside 10 minutes, and I remember so vividly like I almost had a panic attack during that first 10 minutes because it felt so painful to sit there and do something that was not productive. Like I kept thinking like I should get up and clean something, I should get up and do a work thing, I should get up and hang out with my kid. And it felt wild to just do something that was like just about my pleasure. It did not feel pleasant. But what was really fascinating is that within about a month, I started catching myself like picking up that book and reading a few extra pages, like say while my kid was brushing his teeth, or like reading a few extra pages here and there throughout the day when I had little tiny windows. And I was, before I knew it, I finished a whole book, and then I finished another one and another one. I was like reading voraciously and having so much fun being in these stories. And I was writing with a quill and ink, and it went a little wild this morning, so that's why my fingers are like that. And what happened after that was that I started painting, which I had like this huge desire to paint again, which I hadn't painted also in several decades. But I was huge into art when I was young. And that kind of just like sprouted out of the blue after this time period of engaging with fiction for pleasure. And I was like really cheap with myself. I had a really hard time spending money on myself in that phase. So I only allowed myself to get like packing paper from Walmart and these like $1 paints. And I painted like within 1 month, like 100 paintings on this packing paper. I ended up taping all the packing paper like up on the wall and making these gigantic paintings. And I had so much fun with it. And then after that, I started sewing and started a sewing YouTube channel and an Etsy shop. And then, we all know the story after that, like that multiplied into me connecting with Jessa Reed and being on her podcast, and being able to start my private practice working with nervous system work, and starting this YouTube channel, which it has a few weeks ago was the official 1 year birthday of this YouTube channel. So that's really fun too. So, anyways, this pleasure, this 10 minutes a day of pleasure, is what got me to this life that I'm currently living, where like 100% of my day is aligned, 100% of my day is doing something that I really feel like is valuable, but that I love, I enjoy, I have a good time. I don't want a break from it. And that I feel like I have creative ideas and projects and things like this YouTube channel that I have energy to do that are extra and just for fun. And I'm still reading fiction and engaging with art. And I'm even finishing this quilt that my grandma actually started when before she passed away when I was 8 years old, and that I like didn't work on for until a year ago. So things like that like I have time and space and capacity and the like connection with my um, ventral vagal state where I have access to imagination and creativity and inspiration. So I really encourage folks to connect with anything that sounds even the slightest bit fun, even if it doesn't sound super fun now, but at one point you experienced it as fun. Just 10 minutes a day, see what happens. Tell me in the comments if there's anything like that that you're interested in engaging with or do engage with. Something that is really just for fun is so powerful, and it does open up something in your life that can lead to possibilities like the reality that I'm living right now. I was talking with my accountability partner this morning about how the truth is we're really all just little puppies, and we're trying to do these big cognitive spiritual things while ignoring the fact that puppies just every day like need a walk and some time to play, right? Why do we play with puppies? Why do we take puppies on a walk? And he was like, because otherwise they would chew up the couch and like be miserable and bark all day, right? That is how we are if we are not given a time for a nice long walk and a time to just play, right? And so many of us don't include that in our life. We don't include that time for a gentle movement, which can be a nice walk or anything that's right for you, stretching or rocking or whatever. Some inspired creativity, some play, something that feels really playful to you, whether that's playing a sport or playing an instrument or doing a crossword puzzle or reading fiction or doing a puzzle or painting your nails or planting something in your garden, something that feels like play, right? Or having a game night with your friends. And then some mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment. And that's something that we don't have to offer puppies because they have not denied themselves of that, because they weren't trained by an external authority who said, like, pay attention to what I need rather than to what you need. So when we add in those three things, those movement and the play or the inspired creativity and the mindfulness, we get to take care of that puppy self. And then that puppy self can have the capacity to sometimes explore spiritual concepts, but sometimes our spiritual overachieverness makes us so set on doing all the right things. It's like spiritual overachiever plus productivity and capitalism come together to make it like, so exhausting and so much weight around like being a good person, figuring out how to be a good person. So if you're feeling a little run down, I really encourage you to try out offering yourself 10 minutes of pleasure a day and see what happens. I love you so much. I'll talk to you later.